What if everything you believed about milk and strong bones was only half the story? For decades, we've been told the same thing. Drink milk, build strong bones. But after age 50, that advice may no longer serve you and could even be holding you back. If your knees creak going downstairs or your balance isn't what it used to be, don't assume aging is to blame. You might be missing out on foods that quietly outperform milk when it comes to bone strength. In today's video, we'll uncover 7 everyday foods that not only contain more calcium than milk, but also deliver critical nutrients your bones desperately need, especially after menopause or age-related decline sets in. These foods are easy to digest, support inflammation control, and help you stay active and independent. Stronger bones aren't about luck. They're about smart choices, and it starts here. If this sparks your curiosity, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Live Healthy After 50, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's grow stronger together, one meal at a time. Part 1. The common mistake: putting too much trust in milk. For most of our lives, we've been told the same thing over and over: if you want strong bones, drink milk. It's been drilled into us since childhood commercials, doctors, even school lunch programs. 1 glass a day, maybe 2. That's the prescription we followed without question. And yet here's the uncomfortable truth: millions of older adults who drank milk faithfully are now facing brittle bones, fractured hips, and the slow, silent progression of osteoporosis. Something doesn't add up. The National Osteoporosis Foundation reports that nearly 54 million Americans have low bone mass or full-blown osteoporosis. That includes men and women who still drink milk every single day. So what's going wrong? It turns out milk isn't the bone-building miracle we once believed, especially not after age 50. One of the biggest problems: digestion. As we get older, our bodies produce less lactase, the enzyme that helps us break down lactose, the sugar found in milk. That means many older adults end up with bloating, gas, discomfort, or worse, inflammation in the gut that can interfere with nutrient absorption. So while you think you're getting the calcium, your body may be struggling to take it in. But that's just part of the story. Even if you digest milk without issue, there's another catch: milk lacks several key nutrients that are essential for getting calcium into your bones where it belongs. For calcium to be fully absorbed and properly used by the body, you need enough magnesium, vitamin K2, and vitamin D. And guess what? Milk is notoriously low in all of them. Let's take magnesium. It plays a vital role in activating vitamin D, which in turn helps absorb calcium. Without enough magnesium, that calcium can float aimlessly through your bloodstream, sometimes even settling in your arteries instead of your skeleton. Vitamin K2 is equally important. It acts like a traffic director, guiding calcium into the bones and keeping it out of places it shouldn't be. Again, milk barely delivers any. And here's something else many people don't know. High dairy intake, especially from milk, can actually increase calcium loss through urine due to its high protein and phosphorus content. Yes, you heard that right. In some cases, the more milk you drink, the more calcium your body may flush out. That's why experts are starting to question whether our long-standing reliance on milk is doing more harm than good. A major study published in the British Medical Journal followed over 100,000 men and women for more than 20 years. The researchers found that women who drank 3 or more glasses of milk per day actually had a higher risk of bone fractures than those who drank less. That's not just surprising, it's alarming. Now let's be clear, milk isn't evil, but after 50, your body changes. What worked at 20 might not work now. And continuing to lean on milk as your main calcium source without addressing digestion issues or nutrient synergy can quietly lead to bone loss, weakness, and long-term mobility problems. And this is where the real shift begins. Because there are foods out there that don't just match milk, they surpass it. Foods that offer more calcium per serving, along with the critical nutrients your body needs to absorb and use that calcium effectively. Foods that don't upset your stomach or burden your system. Foods that don't just build bones, but protect joints, reduce inflammation, and support your independence for years to come. You don't need to give up everything, just be open to something better. Because the truth is, relying on milk alone might be the very thing keeping your bones from getting stronger. Part 2, foods with more calcium than milk. Now that we've exposed the cracks in the milk myth, it's time to shift focus from what doesn't work to what does. Because here's the good news: nature gives us better options. And many of them have been quietly waiting in your kitchen or your grocery store aisle all along. You don't need to rely on dairy to build strong, resilient bones. In fact, some of the most powerful calcium sources are completely dairy-free. We're talking about foods that not only deliver more calcium per serving than milk, but also come with built-in support fiber to aid digestion, healthy fats, to reduce inflammation, and essential nutrients like magnesium, potassium, and vitamin K to make sure that calcium actually reaches your bones. This part of the video isn't just a list, it's a blueprint. Each of these foods has been chosen not just for its calcium content, but for how it works with your aging body, not against it. Whether you're lactose intolerant, shifting to a plant-based lifestyle, or just tired of doing what hasn't worked, these foods give you choices. Real choices. Ones that fit your life, your preferences, and your body's changing needs. Let's take a closer look at the quiet superfoods that outperform milk and show you how to use them every day to support bone strength, joint flexibility, and long-term independence. Number 1, chia seeds. Tiny seeds, big power. They don't look like much. Small, black, almost weightless. But don't let their size fool you. Chia seeds pack a serious punch. Just 2 tablespoons deliver over 180 milligrams of calcium. That's more per gram than milk. And they do it without the bloating, without the sugar, without the digestive issues so many seniors face with dairy. But calcium is only the beginning. Chia seeds are also loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically ALA, a plant-based fat shown to reduce inflammation. And inflammation, as many people over 50 know too well, is the silent enemy behind bone loss, joint pain, and a host of age-related conditions. In fact, chronic inflammation is now recognized as a major factor in accelerated bone density decline. These little seeds help fight that. Chia also brings fiber to the table, a lot of it. The soluble kind that supports digestion, helps regulate blood sugar, and keeps things moving gently naturally. And when your gut is functioning well, you absorb more nutrients, including calcium. That's one of the hidden benefits people don't talk about. A healthy gut equals stronger bones. And then there's the ease. No prep, no fuss. You don't have to soak, boil, or cook. Just sprinkle them into oatmeal, over yogurt, into a smoothie, even in a glass of water. Within minutes, they form a gel-like consistency that soothes digestion and keeps you hydrated longer, something that becomes more important as we age. Mela knows this firsthand. A retired glass artist in her early 70s, she used to struggle with balance. Not terrible, but enough to notice. Getting out of bed too quickly made her dizzy. A flight of stairs felt like a challenge. And every so often, her muscles would cramp without warning. She didn't want to rely on more pills. She just wanted to feel steady again. That's when she started adding chia seeds to her morning smoothies. Just 1 tablespoon at first, then 2. Within weeks, she felt a difference. Her legs didn't cramp as much. She moved through the house with more confidence, and she no longer feared a misstep on the back porch. When her doctor reviewed her follow-up labs, calcium levels had improved. Not dramatically, but enough to confirm what she already felt in her bones. Chia seeds had become her quiet defense. For anyone over 50 looking for a simple, no-hassle way to support bone strength, chia seeds offer something rare: results without resistance. A daily habit that actually feels good. And sometimes the smallest changes deliver the biggest returns. Number 2, tofu, the bone-building brick for the dairy-free. Tofu has a reputation. To some, it's bland. To others, unfamiliar. But here's what most people don't realize: tofu can be one of the richest sources of calcium you can eat, especially the kind that's calcium set. Just half a cup can deliver anywhere from 250 to over 800 milligrams of calcium, depending on how it's made. That's more than a glass of milk, sometimes more than 2. But tofu isn't just about numbers. It's also one of the few plant-based foods that contains isoflavones, natural compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. After menopause, estrogen levels drop. That drop leads to faster bone loss. It's why women over 50 are at such high risk for osteoporosis. Isoflavones help slow that decline. In fact, multiple studies show that postmenopausal women who eat soy regularly tend to have better bone density than those who don't. And tofu brings more to the table. It's a complete protein. It's gentle on digestion, and it contains magnesium and phosphorus, 2 essential minerals that work alongside calcium to build and maintain bone structure. Now picture Brianni. At 61, she was rebuilding her body and her spirit after breast cancer. The treatments had left her feeling brittle, not just emotionally, but physically. She'd stopped drinking milk years ago, and now facing early signs of bone thinning, she felt caught in a dilemma. She wanted strength, but not more pills, and certainly not another prescription. Then her nutritionist recommended tofu. She started small, a tofu stir-fry on Tuesdays, baked tofu with vegetables on Sunday nights. After a few weeks, she added it to her smoothies, her soups, even her breakfast scrambles. But it wasn't until her yoga teacher pulled her aside mid-pose that she really noticed the shift. "You're holding your balance longer," the teacher said. "You look steadier." That was the moment Brianni realized her body wasn't just surviving anymore. It was starting to restore. Her back felt stronger, her joints less tight, her energy climbing. Tofu had quietly become her foundation, not a trend, not a fix. Just a simple, affordable, everyday food that helped rebuild what treatment had tried to take. For older adults, especially those cutting back on dairy or choosing more plant-forward meals, tofu is more than an alternative. It's a strategy, a building block, a way to support strong bones, steady movement, and graceful aging. And when it's prepared well, it's not bland at all. It's nourishing, empowering, and exactly what your body's been asking for. Number 3, collard greens, the calcium-rich leaf you've been overlooking. They're hearty, deep green, a little bitter if you don't cook them right, but collard greens might just be the best-kept secret in your kitchen when it comes to bone strength. 1 cup of cooked collard greens delivers around 270 milligrams of calcium. That's more than a glass of milk. And unlike spinach or Swiss chard, collard greens are low in oxalates. That matters, because oxalates bind to calcium and block your body from absorbing it. So while some greens may look nutritious on paper, your bones may never see the benefit. Collards are different. The calcium they carry is bioavailable, which means your body can actually absorb and use it. And it gets even better. Collard greens are packed with vitamin K, a nutrient that acts like a lock-and-key mechanism, helping calcium bind to your bones instead of floating uselessly in your bloodstream. Without vitamin K, calcium can't finish the job. This is crucial, especially after 50, when calcium absorption naturally drops and bone turnover speeds up. You need more than just calcium. You need calcium with a guide. Collard greens offer both. Now meet Oswin. A retired jazz guitarist in his late 60s, Oswin never gave bone health a second thought. He drank milk, took walks, stayed active. But a routine scan showed low calcium levels. His knees had been stiff lately, but he chalked it up to age. His doctor didn't. They ran more tests. The numbers didn't lie. Something wasn't working. That's when his dietitian asked one simple question. "Do you eat any dark leafy greens?" He didn't. So they made a switch. Not drastic, just deliberate. Steamed collard greens sautéed with olive oil and garlic 3 times a week. The first thing Oswin noticed, his joints felt less tight. Then came the energy. His fingers stopped cramping when he played guitar, and his second bone scan improved. It wasn't dramatic, it was steady, reliable, just like the greens themselves. Collard greens are more than a side dish. They're a strategy, a natural tool for older adults who want to protect their bones without pills, without side effects, and without guesswork. They're easy to prepare, easy to chew, and easy to grow if you've got a small patch of soil and a little sunlight. For those who value simple, powerful nutrition, this southern staple deserves a place at your table. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine doesn't come in a bottle. It grows in your garden, leafy, humble, and ready to rebuild your bones. Number 4, sardines, small fish, strong bones. They come in a can. They smell a little salty. And yet sardines might be one of the most powerful bone-building foods you'll ever eat. 3 ounces. That's all it takes. Just 1 small serving of sardines with the bones delivers over 325 milligrams of calcium, more than a glass of milk. Why so high? Because you eat the bones. Soft, tiny, barely noticeable, but loaded with the kind of natural calcium your body recognizes and absorbs easily. But that's not the only reason sardines stand out. They also bring something most calcium-rich foods don't: vitamin D. And without enough vitamin D, your body can't absorb calcium properly. It just floats around unused. Sardines give you both calcium and vitamin D in a single bite. Then there's the omega-3s. Sardines are one of the richest sources of EPA and DHA, 2 forms of omega-3 fatty acids that help reduce inflammation, protect joints, and slow the breakdown of bone tissue over time. They're also packed with protein, which supports muscle mass, and muscle in turn protects your bones. For people over 50, that combination is rare and powerful. Anel knows exactly how powerful. He spent most of his life at sea working on freight ships, hauling ropes, climbing ladders, battling waves. But after retirement, life on land wasn't as steady. One winter morning, a slip on his icy back steps sent a jolt through his spine. He didn't break anything, but the pain lingered. So did the fear. His doctor checked his bone density. It wasn't good. Anel didn't want to take another medication, so he asked what else he could do. Eat sardines, his doctor said, twice a week with the bones. At first, Anel laughed, but he tried it. Sardines on toast, mashed into pasta, mixed with lemon olive oil and crackers. Easy, affordable, no fuss. By spring, he noticed a change. Less back pain, more confidence walking. He stood taller, moved quicker, and his follow-up scan showed real improvement. Sardines, those little canned fish he used to avoid, had quietly helped rebuild what life at sea had worn down. For older adults, sardines aren't just a snack. They're a strategy, one that combines calcium, vitamin D, omega-3s, and protein all in one shelf-stable, no-prep package. Don't let their size fool you. These little fish do big things for your bones, and sometimes strength comes in the most unexpected forms. Number 5, almonds, the crunchy snack that builds bones. They're crisp, satisfying, and for many people, the perfect go-to snack. But what most don't realize is this: almonds are more than just a treat. They're a quiet powerhouse for your bones. Just one handful, about 23 almonds, delivers around 75 milligrams of calcium. Not bad for something you can eat straight from the bag. But the real magic of almonds isn't just the calcium, it's what comes with it. Magnesium, and plenty of it. Magnesium plays a critical role in calcium absorption. Without it, your body struggles to send calcium where it's needed into the bones. And many people over 50 are unknowingly magnesium deficient. That means even if you're getting calcium, you might not be using it. Almonds help fill that gap. They also contain monounsaturated fats, which support heart health and reduce chronic inflammation. That's important because inflammation, especially low-grade long-term inflammation, quietly breaks down bone tissue over time. Almonds help turn down that fire. They bring vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells, including bone-forming osteoblasts. And they're packed with protein, which supports lean muscle, another key player in maintaining bone strength and balance. Now meet Fiorella, 82 years old, quick wit, sweet tooth. For years, her pantry was stocked with cookies, pastries, little cakes from the corner bakery. But then came the diagnosis, prediabetes, and early signs of bone loss. Her daughter gave her a choice: change what's in the pantry or risk losing her independence. That's when Fiorella found almonds. Roasted, unsalted, dusted with cinnamon. She swapped cookies for almonds. Just a handful mid-morning, a sprinkle over her oatmeal, a few tucked into her purse when she went out. She didn't expect much, but within weeks her cravings changed. Her energy felt steadier, and her bones. On her next DEXA scan, the numbers had stabilized. No pills, no complicated diets, just one small change, crunchy, delicious, and easy. For older adults, almonds offer more than convenience. They offer real usable nutrition, portable, shelf-stable, no prep, no mess. And in a world full of processed snacks that harm your bones, almonds quietly do the opposite. They strengthen, they protect, they build. It's not just about eating less sugar, it's about eating with purpose. And sometimes the answer isn't in the supplement aisle, it's in your hand. Part 3, why calcium alone isn't enough. Your bones need a full support team. You've heard it 1,000 times: calcium builds strong bones. And yes, it matters. But here's the truth most people never hear. Calcium is just one player in a much bigger system. Without the right support, that calcium doesn't always reach your bones. Sometimes it doesn't get absorbed at all. Sometimes it ends up in the wrong places, like arteries, joints, or kidneys. Strong bones after 50 aren't built on calcium alone. They require a full cast of nutrients: vitamin D, magnesium, vitamin K, omega-3s, and protein working together in harmony day after day. Vitamin D, this is the gatekeeper. Without enough vitamin D, calcium can't even get through the intestinal wall into your bloodstream. Your body needs vitamin D to make the protein that absorbs calcium from food. As we age, our skin produces less of it from sunlight. By 70, your body might only make half as much as it did in your 30s. That's why vitamin D deficiency is so common and so dangerous. Best food sources: Fatty fish like salmon and sardines, egg yolks, and fortified foods like almond milk or cereal. For some, a daily supplement of 800 to 1000 IU is helpful, but food first is always better when possible. Magnesium. Think of magnesium as the spark plug. It activates vitamin D. It tells calcium where to go and helps keep it out of soft tissue. Without magnesium, even high calcium intake won't fix weak bones. And studies show that nearly 50% of older adults in the US aren't getting enough. Best food sources: almonds, pumpkin seeds, spinach, avocados, black beans. Even a square of dark chocolate, the good kind, 70% cocoa or more, gives you a dose of magnesium your bones can use. Vitamin K2. This one is the traffic cop. It guides calcium out of the bloodstream and into the skeleton where it belongs. Without it, calcium can build up in places it shouldn't, leading to stiff arteries and higher fracture risk. Best food sources: collard greens, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and fermented foods like natto or sauerkraut. The leafy greens also come with fiber and antioxidants that protect bone-forming cells from oxidative stress. Omega-3 fatty acids. These are your peacekeepers. Inflammation is a hidden driver of bone breakdown, and omega-3s help calm it. Chronic inflammation slows down bone building and speeds up bone loss. Omega-3s help protect the entire skeletal system by keeping that inflammation under control. Best food sources: sardines, salmon, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. Even 2 servings of fatty fish per week can significantly reduce bone loss in older adults, according to research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Protein. Yes, protein. Many older adults avoid it, thinking it's only for building muscle. But muscle protects bone. Strong muscles mean fewer falls, less pressure on joints, and protein is also a major component of bone tissue itself. Your skeleton isn't just minerals, it's living structure, and protein helps rebuild it every day. Best food sources: tofu, beans, lentils, eggs, chicken, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Aim for 20-30 grams of protein per meal to maintain muscle and bone integrity as you age. Now here's the big idea. You could eat 1-200 milligrams of calcium a day and still end up with weak bones if you're missing the co-nutrients. It's not about one vitamin, it's about the network. The orchestra. Every part matters. That's why people who eat a wide variety of whole foods, plants, seeds, lean proteins, fish, greens often have better bone health than those who rely on supplements or dairy alone. Real food gives your body more than numbers. It gives your cells what they need to absorb, activate, and apply. That's what builds long-term strength. And it's not just about avoiding fractures. It's about standing up from the couch without hesitation, taking stairs without holding the rail, walking through the park with your grandkids and not worrying about the next step. Your bones carry your story. Let's give them the support team they deserve. Strong bones don't come from a carton of milk. They come from small, powerful choices, quiet steps you take every day. A spoonful of chia in your breakfast, a serving of sardines at lunch, a handful of almonds instead of cookies. These aren't trends, they're tools. And they build more than bone, they build freedom. Because living longer only matters if you're living well, moving with ease, standing with strength, sitting down without fear, and rising back up on your own. This week, add just one thing: a new habit, a smarter bite, one more layer of support for the body that's carried you this far. Picture yourself years from now walking with your grandchild, steady, confident, free. That's not a dream, that's a decision. And it starts with what's on your plate. If this video helped you understand your bones and your body a little better today, be sure to leave a comment, and subscribe. Your health is your greatest wealth.